So there's a holiday this week. Have you heard about it? It's called Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, it comes so close to Christmas that sometimes it kind of gets trampled by reindeer, but we'll stop for a moment and talk about gratitude. And I was remembering what Linda Martellowitz wrote in her book, How to Pray Without Talking to God. And she said, another word that we could use for gratitude is appreciation. Which I was like, yeah, that might even be, she says it's a better word. We're going to use them interchangeably, but I like appreciation because what does appreciate mean? Joe, you're a business person. What does appreciate mean? It raises in value, right? Yeah. It means something's valuable. And so when we appreciate something, we're recognizing its value. And that's really what gratitude is about, right? And Thanksgiving and this whole thing is all really about that. So it can be a very just like, oh, I'm thankful for blah, 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 kind of that. But it can really be something very like, I see the value. I acknowledge the value. There's really meaningful. And I put a note that I was going to read something. Now see if I can find the thing I was going to read. She said we can experiment with words of appreciation, like how blessed I feel to know I am wise. I appreciate my growing realization of my divine identity. Instead of thank you God for the rain, I feel singing in the rain, puddle jumping, Mud Pud, making happy about the rain. Ooh, it's pretty juicy stuff. And so what she's talking about there is to not, you can say thank you to whoever you want. You can do whatever you want. But here's how I feel about it. Because for me, a lot of people say, we did say thank you for Spirit at the beginning, but not thank you to a Santa in the sky type of God. For a lot of people, especially maybe when we're younger, we think of God kind of like we ask for things like a list, like you would Santa Claus. And at some point, we maybe kind of move beyond to a more relationship or knowing that we are expressions of that God energy. And so instead of thank you to a God outside of us, a Santa in the sky with a list, but as Linda was saying, I feel that gratitude. I appreciate what is good here, what is working for me. I feel the value. And something that Myrtle Fillmore said about, Thanksgiving, or gratitude, is one of the final steps of the prayer process. And what Myrtle Fillmore said about that process, she said, as you come out of the silence, count your blessings and give thanks for them. Realize that only good exists in you and in your world, and the power you contracted in the silence may have opportunity to multiply and increase your blessings. Give thanks that you have already received the good for which you looked to God in the silence. Realize that only good exists in you and in the world. And so she's not saying, thank you, God, for giving me the answer, but knowing that realization of truth coming forth in me. It's a little difference. And so for me, maybe when you're checking out at the grocery store and they say, have a great day, and you say thank you. It's sort of kind of like a giveaway, thank you. You can do whatever you want with that. You can decide to make it really genuine. That's fine. Or you can just let it be a giveaway. But when we really take gratitude deeper into our belly, that's where our core abilities lie. Love is a constant. Love is the power of the universe that binds us together, right? It's not love like romantic love. It's that binding power, that's deep fire in our belly. Same with enthusiasm and joy. Those are deep things in our belly that even in the darkest day, it is a spark, an ember there. And I feel the same way about gratitude. Why it's not one of Unity's 12 powers, I'm not quite sure, but I nominate it. Because when and maybe because it's related to when we feel love, that's appreciation, which is gratitude, right? So it's all connected. But there's this deep feeling of gratitude deep within us that is something more than a thanks. And so how do we live from that place more? Because what we know is when we appreciate things, they grow, right? And so there's this really interesting process called appreciative inquiry. Has anybody other than me heard of it? No. Okay, well, it's another one of those great plans that people who do organizational management type of things came up with. It's been around for quite a while. And appreciative inquiry is about focusing on what is working, which is what's really great about it. And sure, if you have some things that are really, really not working in your company, maybe you need to look at that. But appreciative inquiry is not about ignoring those things, but it's focusing on what is working. What do we appreciate? Because I have a friend, a fellow minister who will remain anonymous for her own good, who was she had this person working in her office, and she was feeling some frustration about this person's performance in a particular area, and it was causing a lot of frustration for her. And so she's like, okay, I realized that she does some other things pretty good, but this one thing was really getting was causing some troubles. And so she did an assessment, and she went, and after she looked at all the numbers, she realized, well, this office assistant was actually doing almost everything that she did above average. But that was that one thing that was, still. And so there's some need maybe to retrain or whatever needed to happen around that. But what she realized is when she focused on all the things that this person did well, which she didn't really notice because they were happening, they were just kind of flowing along. She just didn't even pop her radar. And it really helped her have a different perspective on the situation and be like, this person is actually doing almost everything I need her to do. And most of it she's doing really well and fast and efficient and all of those things. And so it didn't change the facts that this one thing wasn't happening right, but it changed her whole perspective on how to work with this employee and getting some sort of resolution. But then that person makes all the difference, right? So she appreciated what was working. And so we can so it was interesting. So I was looking up, because I've done appreciative inquiry. I've done week-long appreciative inquiry processes where we did this. It's quite an involved process, can be, to figure out what's working and what we want to include and what kind of action steps we could create from this. But I was looking it up online just to kind of refresh my thoughts on that. And one of the main criticisms is if people don't really buy into doing it, it still doesn't make organizational change. Which makes perfect sense, right? We can have all the best ideas we ever had, but until we actually do it, we're still standing at the bottom of the mountain, right? And so no matter, we can have all the best ideas about how we feel gratitude. We can have all the best ideas about how we're going to make peace. We can have all the best ideas about all of those things. And until we really start activating it, we're nowhere, right? So Unity's fifth principle is about doing it. That's my interpretation of it. It's about putting action to our prayers. We can't just pray about it. We have to do it. And so here's a few things we can do to activate that. I think first is to take that appreciative inquiry idea. What is working? What's working in my life? There's some things that aren't working, but I really do feel a lot of gratitude. I can't even tell you how grateful I was, just to go to Costco and walk into Costco and be able to buy what I need. There's a lot of people in this world who can't do that. First of all, I got a Costco 2 miles from my house, which is pretty great. And they have pretty much most of the stuff that I want at a pretty decent price. And I have the money in my bank account to be able to swipe my card and go about my business and not think twice about it. But I can think twice about it and go, wow, that's pretty amazing. And then I go put it in my SUV, which so far, 2 years in, no ditches. Yes. Lots of gratitude. I mean, if you really take a moment to go, wow, this is amazing. This is an amazing life. So that's it seems like a little thing. But if we could walk each day and wonder for the amazing things that we have going on in our life, that's a great place to start, to really walk in gratitude. And, I get to really feel, I know that, tomorrow when I go help hand out food to folks who can't drive up to Costco and buy whatever they want. Well, I can't buy whatever I want at Costco. There's some pretty expensive stuff at Costco, but whatever I need, I can buy at Costco. We'll go with that. I mean, anybody want to buy me a Vitamix? I'll be all over that, but there's a lot of people, tomorrow when we're giving out food to the people who easily qualify to have food given to them, that's a whole nother world, And so I'm going to definitely be walking in gratitude for my own, and my ability to be there and support them. It's amazing. Whew. So that's one way, part of our daily practice, to really remember all the great things. Because what we appreciates. Another thing, we've heard a million times, you probably all heard so many times about keep a gratitude journal. How many times have we've heard this? We've all heard someone say keep a gratitude journal, yeah. Especially if you have a rule that you can't repeat stuff for a given amount of time, that makes you have to think about it a little bit more. And especially if you have a little rule to yourself that it can't be like, well, I was grateful for the rock that I saw that was shaped, whatever, that it really, you can have whatever rules you want about it, but gratitude journals, they're a great little thing. And then, it's just another thing, Unity, a couple years ago, the national office started a thing called the Unity Gratitude Challenge, where people go on Facebook and they make little videos of someone they're grateful for, and then they challenge another person, and we kind of do a thing in November, and that's really fun. And what their focus, they encourage people to focus gratitude on a person and why. So it wasn't just, oh, I'm grateful for the sunsets, which I am grateful for the beautiful sunsets and the beautiful mountains and all of those things, but to actually get more specific, because that's sort of like spreading the love and feeling connected to our community and our world, right? And so what if, just a question, what if we did a thing where every week or every month, we actually wrote a note. Really old school, actually wrote a letter or a card, or even a postcard would be pretty exciting, right? And said, dear so-and-so, I really appreciate how, you show up, or how you da-da-da-da-da, whatever it is that they do, and like actually write it down. I mean, I'm not saying that I have been able to commit to this, but I think it's a really great idea, and maybe I could start, and maybe we could all start. It's like starting a love bomb, right? That's like spreading it out. And so finally, because it's all about doing it and how to take these things into our spiritual practice. Gratitude it can be very, what you were supposed to say when someone says something, you're supposed to say thank you. You just say that. You don't even think about it, right? It's just the response you're supposed to make. But what if we made each one of those really meant it? What if we turned gratitude into the way that we walked on the earth? So that's the question. That's the spiritual practice. That's what we get to go off and do in our world. It's the season of gratitude, at least for 4 more days. But I think it should be a season of gratitude all year long.